One more.
No, that's perfect. I love that.
This is our descent into madness. Please enjoy.
We're live. So now that we're live, tell me, what does your genital situation look like?
A mess.
Because I'll tell you,
Nuclear fallout.
I look like I'm smuggling grapefruits, but then I got a little
It's too big.
itty bitty like acorn situation going on.
Are you
Just
saying you
huge,
have like
massive
3 balls?
nuts,
Oh,
but
your
a
dick is the
teeny
acorn.
tiny little dick.
Oh, I was kind of hoping you had 3 balls.
No, just
Oh.
2 really big ones,
Mm.
like too big.
Have you ever seen? Like,
I look
the
like
guy
a
with
chimpanzee.
Oh, so strong. Have you ever seen the video of that guy with like elephantitis of the balls?
The guy who like puts his balls in a hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, they're so aggressive.
It's impossible to ignore.
How do you get to that point and like not see a doctor yet?
Maybe you do see a doctor, but you just can't afford the treatment.
What do you think the treatment is? Can't you just lop those fuckers off?
Ugh. I wouldn't want to lop my balls off.
I wouldn't keep them if they were that big.
I don't want to be a eunuch.
They're
I'd rather
Fuck it,
have
at that
huge
point-
balls than no balls.
not that big. He can't get them through fucking doorways.
I'd rather keep my balls.
Oof. I'd take them off.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to lose them.
You fucking...
I've got enough. I'm just gonna take TRT. Who needs the balls when you could take TRT?
That is true. You just take whatever supplements.
HGH.
Oh yeah,
DECA.
HGH.
I'm gonna take so many hormones.
Oh man, I'm gonna be honest. This is gonna be a fun podcast because I've been drinking for the last 4 hours.
My guy, it's 11:50.
Yeah, and I woke up at like 8:30.
I had to get up early. I have Veterans Day off for no fucking reason.
I have Veterans Day off because I quit.
Because you're a fucking bum.
No.
Yeah.
I'll only be a bum for the next 2 weeks.
A bum's a bum.
My new job starts hiring in like 2 weeks.
You doing culinary stuff again? Like still in the kitchen?
Yeah. So basically, I worked at HEB.
Right.
For those who don't know, it's like a regional grocery store chain. It's exclusive to Texas. I don't like that you're smiling while I do
It's
this.
fine. If you've
off
been
your
watching
veneers.
these, I'm not showing them off. If you've been watching these videos, how I edit them, I go between who's talking.
Oh, really?
So while you're talking, I'm doing this.
Oh.
So I'm being really fucking vain and doing this in my webcam while you're talking to me.
Oh. Well, anyway, so I've been working at HEB, which is a grocery store chain exclusive to Texas, essentially. I think they have a few stores in like Mexico and stuff, but
I didn't know that.
But anyway, HEB has these like pre-prepared dinner things called Meal Simple. You grab them, you throw them in your cart, you go home, you throw them in the oven, and they're ready to go. And for the last couple of months, that has been my job, is to put those together.
That's it? You didn't really like do anything else?
No, that's been the entirety of my job the last couple of months. And for the most part, I did salads, and that made me want to kill myself. It is so boring.
I was going to say, is it just monotonous, just putting salads into Tupperware?
Yes. It's like, okay, I have to do 60 chef salads, and then I have to do 40 Cobb salads and 15 of these and that, and it's not hard.
Right.
It's kind of nice because I get to listen to like podcasts and stuff all day.
Yeah, but is it worth it if you're like, all right, tomatoes, lettuce, 9mm,
Fuck no.
revolver, cream cheese, shredded cheese.
Cream cheese.
Do I look like I eat salads?
The
Because I
fuck
don't.
kind of salads are you eating? Oh my god.
None of American Greek.
But anyway, yeah, it's so boring. And I think it's mainly boring because I'm used to working in restaurants.
Right.
Where I don't know how to describe it, but it's a lot faster paced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like you get,
and there's more going on. Like you have different shit that you're making. You're not just doing the same thing over and over again.
4 or 5 orders come in all at once, and they're all 4 or 5 different things. And so for me, that's a lot more interesting, and it's a lot easier to work just as a line cook.
Yeah.
My manager tried to guilt me into staying. Basically,
at HEB?
yes, basically every day since I put in my 2 weeks at HEB, where she was like, "Oh, you're so good at it. Are you sure you want to leave?" It's like,
you're so good at being a fucking drone.
yeah, it's like, it's putting fucking salads together. Who's not good at that? Who?
You'd be surprised.
Who cannot put a bunch of salads together? Are you fucking serious?
Dude, do you know what I just spent an hour 45 fucking doing? Helping Nana log into Amazon.
Oh, hell yeah.
Log in.
And you didn't even get paid for that.
My guy, I used to exaggerate, but now I don't think I am. After 65, I want you to fucking kill me. I'm gonna put a goddamn bullet in my head.
The day after your 65th birthday.
Yeah, God damn it, dude. Old people, I think you shouldn't be allowed to vote after 65. If you can't vote till you're 18, then, you know, whatever the average like mortality rate is, like the kind of upper age limit, subtract 18 from that, you can't vote past that.
Honestly, I think 65 would be great, because like that's when you can retire, and then you're not allowed to vote. You can just fuck off.
Yeah.
You can go to Florida and like golf for the rest of your days, and like who cares?
Until the next fucking hurricane hits you. No, I think we gotta get rid of them. Like they can't be allowed to have opinions. Because that's how we get Mitch McConnell's fucking turkey neck on TV. I was mentioning it to Maddie, and it's like the most recent administration has made us all aware of politics. Like, even if you were passingly aware, I should not know the phrase Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. That shouldn't be something I know. Like, why? He's a fucking senator from Kentucky. I shouldn't know that. But I do.
You know, Lindsey Graham, who is a senator from who gives a shit, some Appalachian country.
Meth land.
He, 1, has never been married.
Nice.
2, lives with a man.
His name is Lindsay.
His name is Lindsay. But he lives with a man who is his roommate.
Oh, he's taking it in the pooper.
Oh, absolutely. They're totally fucking gay for each other.
Those are butt buddies.
They're totally gay for each other, but because he's a Republican, he can't admit that they're gay for each other and all that. And
right.
Whatever. It would just be a lot easier if he was just like, "Hey, I'm gay. This is my gay lover."
Yeah, I'm a gay Republican. We exist. Just let everyone kind of fucking go, huh?
But instead, I'm a 60-year-old man with a roommate.
Honestly, if you have a roommate,
senator with a roommate, you make enough money you can live on your own, even in fucking Kentucky.
They're fucking. Even in Kentucky, especially in Kentucky. What the fuck are you talking about? I bet the average income in Kentucky is like barely above minimum wage.
Oh my God.
Oh, I keep biting my teeth, my new giant buck teeth. I keep biting them. I'm still debating whether they're buck or not. I might have to call the dentist because he's like, yeah, you have about 3 days to give me a call if you want them shorter, longer, wider, whatever.
They're a little bit, if you want my personal opinion, I would get them just a little bit shorter.
That's what I'm thinking. I also keep bumping my teeth into them. And I don't know if that's because I'm like not used to them yet, but
it's hard to tell just because they're
and it's
veneers.
Yeah, it's changing the way I talk. And so like my mouth isn't in the same spot. And when I go back and watch this, like just me talking for an hour, maybe I'll like decide more or less, but I'm leaning towards asking them to take just a little bit off.
Yeah, I think personally just a little bit. I think the width and everything is good, but I think they're just a little bit long.
Yeah. I've always wanted to get veneers to fix my small teeth, and I mean, it's pretty cool. I like it. And now I got to get Invisalign, which apparently makes it I don't know, apparently a lot of people have a hard time sticking to it because whereas braces, they're fucking bolted to your teeth. You can't take them off.
Yeah.
The Invisalign you have to put in and wear all day, and if you get lazy with it, they just don't work.
That is true. I had Invisalign like retainers after I had my braces, and like I didn't wear them. And after a couple of days, you just can't.
Yeah,
because your teeth shift to the point where
they
like
shift fast.
Yeah, to the point where like if you wear them, you're gonna be in a lot of pain.
Yeah. Did you like when did you get your braces off? You get them off in high school, middle school?
Like towards the end of freshman year. I only wore them for like a year and a half.
Oh, it's not like as long relatively.
No, it's pretty short, honestly. But I had them for like a year and a half, and almost immediately I did not wear my Invisalign. But like a couple weeks later, it was like too late to wear them. Yeah. I was like, well, fuck it. I've got bonded retainers, and then the bonded retainers broke up top. On the bottom, they're fine, but my bottom teeth don't really need any corrective anything, so I don't know why they're there. But for our YouTube viewers, my teeth are really narrow.
They're not that bad. Like, you wouldn't really know unless you pointed it out.
They're not, and most of the time when I talk, you don't see them.
Right.
Just because of the way I speak. But, you know, I wouldn't mind getting veneers for those, making them look a little bit better. I don't know.
Yeah, isn't it fucking weird, like, how most humans need, like, some kind of dental work? Like, whether you need your wisdom teeth out or you have to have teeth pulled. Like, Maddie said she had to have 8 teeth pulled for her braces. Like, not because they were rotten or anything, just to, like, because there's no fucking room.
I had to have a couple of teeth pulled when I got my braces, but that was because, like, I was like 13 or 14 and all of my baby teeth hadn't come out yet.
Oh.
And they were like, yeah, your teeth are not, by the time you get all your adult teeth in, they're not going to be ready. So we're going to go ahead and pull these out so you can start getting braces.
Gotcha.
Basically. And then I got all of my wisdom teeth removed at once. I got all 4 of my wisdom teeth removed, and honestly, it wasn't that bad. I think it was because they hadn't quite broken through yet. You sent me a little heart. That's sweet.
I know. It was telling me to. And just down in the bottom, it was like, want to send a heart react? I went, I do. And then I saw your face light up. I'm like, oh, that's funny.
But anyway, I had all my wisdom teeth removed, and because they hadn't quite broken through yet, like they were still coming through, I didn't have that bad of a time with it. Like, I never, they prescribed me, I think, like hydrocodone or something, and I never took any of it.
That happened when I got my wisdom teeth out, because I only got the 2 on my left side taken out. And they gave me the 800 milligram ibuprofen, so the stronger ibuprofen, and then they're like, and here's your codeine. I'm like, why do I need codeine? And like, I got home, the first day was the worst, and it was actually just a headache. Like, my mouth was just kind of like a numb kind of pain, and it's like, whatever, it's not that bad. And then after that, it was basically fine. It's like a 3-day recovery period. It's not even long.
It's probably different once your wisdom teeth actually come in. You know what I mean?
So one of them was in and it was slightly infected, and then the other one they had to extract. Like it was impacted. And so they did actually have to cut one out. But I had no problems.
That's bizarre.
I don't know. When they gave me the codeine, I'm like, this seems a little hardcore.
I remember when I came to after like waking up from the operation.
Yeah.
A nurse was helping me walk to the car.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had my arm around her shoulder and she had her arm around my waist.
Mm.
And I remember being like, hey, like
slap her ass.
No. But I remember being like, hey, is it cool that I have my arm around your shoulder? Like, are you okay with that? Because if not, I'll move it.
I like that even high. You're checking for consent. Like, can I touch you?
Essentially, yeah. And she was like, no, it's fine. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
that's interesting. I like that they walked you out like they were Weekend at Bernieing you around. I got a wheelchair. They didn't give you a wheelchair?
No, I was walked out.
That was interesting. And I was expecting to be high. Like you see all the videos because I found out like right before I got the surgery, I was like, so like, I'm going to go unconscious and they're like, you're not going to go unconscious. I went, huh? And they're like, yeah, we aren't a hospital. So we are not allowed by law to completely render you unconscious. I'm like, go on. And she's like, you are going to be so high that you're not going to remember any of it. I went, really? And they're like, yeah. So we are going to give you like these drugs and you're going to be very, very relaxed. But if I say, hey, Michael, can you hear me? You're going to go, and you'll be able to acknowledge me and do simple things like that. I went, really? And she's like, yeah, but you will not remember any of it. It's very unlikely you'll remember any of it. I'm like, okay. And I remember one thing. I remember kind of coming to in the middle of it. And like, it felt like his whole fist was in my mouth, like just like how wide my face felt, but I couldn't feel anything. I just felt like maybe pressure would be the best way to describe it. And I'm like, huh. And then I remember like closing my eyes and going back out again. And then I woke up and it was all over. Like I was just sitting in the bed. And the nurse comes over. It's like, how you feeling? I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. She's like, all right, we're going to bring your wheelchair over. And I'm like, oh boy, oh boy. And I go to like sit up. She's like, slow. And I go to sit up and I out loud went, ow. Like, I'm fine. And I sat in the chair and they wheeled me out. And I said to her, I thought I was going to be higher. And she kind of laughed at that. And I got wheeled out to the person who drove me. And the person who drove me was like, are you okay? Like, do you need help getting into the car? And I went, no. And I stood up out of the wheelchair, opened the door, sat in, like, not as high as I thought I would be. I have a headache. No. That's it.
When I got my wisdom teeth out, I was high as fuck.
Really?
Because I remember my parents were in the room before the operation. The doctor came in, kind of talked to us about what was going to go on.
Yeah.
Then my parents left the room. And then he was like, okay, I'm going to need you to count down from 10. And I remember making it to about 8, maybe.
I love that. Maddie has a similar story where they made her count back from 100. She goes, I got to 97.
I remember he was like, okay, I need you to count down from 10. And I was like, 10, 9. And then right about there is when it gets fuzzy. I think I made it to 8.
I love how fast that happens. That's funny.
But then I remember that. And then I remember waking up with my mom in the room being like, he's shivering. Is that normal? Mm-hmm. And then I remember being like, oh, yeah, I guess I am shivering. That is weird. And the doctor was like, oh, yeah, that's totally normal. Like, that's just part of the process of, like, waking up or whatever.
Fine. He's just a chilly bitch.
Yeah. And so I kind of remember waking up, the nurse walking me out, me putting my arm around her and being like, is this cool? She was like,
so funny.
Yeah, of course. Like,
can I smack that ass?
She was like, no.
No. Oh.
That's...
How about... And then you gave her your number and you'd be like, call me. But you tried to wink, but you just kind of went...
But then I blinked. Like, yeah, give me a call.
She's like,
And she was like, okay, yeah. Anyway.
my number is 555-8675-3099. Like, as you get into the car. She's like, all right, buddy.
But my mom was kind of walking with me. I got in the car with my dad. And then I remember getting into the car, my mom starting to walk away. Then she walked back, and I was like, hey, what's up? And she was like, I don't know, you called me over. And I was like, I don't know.
It's so fucking funny.
I remember,
No, I wasn't high at all.
I remember asking my dad a couple of times on the drive home, like, how long is this supposed to last? And he was like, the doctor said it would be a few hours, and then after that you would be normal. I was like, oh, okay. One other thing I distinctly remember is looking at my fingers, like being high, and like, okay, I know in movies when people are high, they look at their fingers and like they seem like sausages or whatever it was.
Or like
I don't
tracers
remember.
or whatever.
Yeah. And so I remember looking at my fingers, but they didn't look like anything except my fingers.
So you're like, what are they supposed to look like?
And so I was like looking at them really intensely, waiting for them to change, but they were just my fingers.
That's so fucking funny.
No.
And then go ahead.
And then when I got home, my parents were like, so like, do you want to watch TV or whatever? And I was like, I really want to watch Die Hard. And we did,
just craving Die Hard.
For whatever reason, I was like, I really want to watch Die Hard. We didn't have Die Hard on DVD or anything like that. So my stepmom went to Walmart to go buy stuff that I could eat, like mashed potatoes and macaroni and cheese. And
yeah. You got all 4 out. I was lucky.
Yeah.
I got 2 out. If you remember, I got them out on Super Bowl weekend, and because I'm pretty sure we lived together at the time.
Probably.
But yeah, I think so. And I got them out, and I was like, I'm fucking eating on Super Bowl weekend. And since I just got them the 2 out on one side, I was just like eating chips real small.
That does
on one
sound
side.
familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. So did she get Die Hard for you?
She was like, she came home and she was like, okay, I got mashed potatoes, I got mac and cheese for you. I couldn't find Die Hard, but what I did find was this 4-pack of like all 4 at the time Die Hard movies.
Okay.
So I got Die Hard, Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3 with a
vengeance.
Is Die Hard? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Die Hard 2 is Die Harder, which is
with
fucking stupid. The Die Hard 3
Die
with
Hard.
Yeah, so I got all of those at once, and we watched the first 2 Die Hard movies while I ate like microwave mashed potatoes.
Oh, that's cool.
It was pretty awesome.
That's cool. I love that you were craving Die Hard for no fucking reason.
For whatever reason, I really wanted to watch Bruce Willis climb through AC vents and say, now I know what a TV dinner feels like.
Yeah, famous line. I love Die Hard, and I love that Bruce Willis has aged well.
You know what? He has.
Not even like just his appearance, like because he's always been like not a super like forward celebrity.
Because he's always been a grumpy old man.
Yeah, he's always been a grumpy old man. And like I super love, there's an amazing interview with him where I forget what he was in. I forget what the interview was for, but the person was like, I think he was a voice for a Hayao Miyazaki movie, or maybe an anime. And I think he was a voice for it, and he's being interviewed, and it's like clearly Hayao Miyazaki is like either an influence or involved. I forget. And the interviewer's like, what kind of connection do you have with that? Like, what do you make of that? And his co-star is a huge fan of it. And it's like, his work is all this, this, and this. And Bruce Willis is like, looks cool. Like, that was it. He's like, real nice drawings. That was it.
Well,
that was all the fuck he had to say about it.
Bruce Willis really wanted to break into Hollywood as a musician.
I did know that.
Yeah. I forget.
Did you ever watch the Netflix show Bumping Mics with
No,
Dave Attell and Jeff Ross?
no, I don't remember
It is-
hearing anything about that.
It's so fucking funny. So the premise is Dave Attell and Jeff Ross get up and they have a little bit of planned material, but a lot of it is they just fucking cap on each other hard. And every time they like sick burn each other, they're both holding a microphone. They tap the mics. So bumping mics. And in one of them, Bruce Willis is in the crowd, and Jeff Ross is telling the story later on Your Mom's House, and he goes, I knew Bruce Willis was going to be there, and like I didn't ask him if he wanted to come up or anything, but I felt like he'd be game. And so I found an opportunity to invite him up, and and once I knew he was there and I felt like he'd be game, I sent our assistant to go get something from the store, and I handed Bruce Willis a harmonica, and so he played it for everyone in the club. And everyone thought it was a staged bit. And he goes, no, it just happened to work out. I saw Bruce Willis and I felt like he'd be game. Oh, dude, it's so fucking funny.
Dave Attell is one of those comedians where, like, I don't know, I would watch his highlights. I don't know that I would ever watch an hour-long Dave Attell special.
He's very interesting. Obviously, I've never met him, but of the podcast I've seen of the comedians who talk about him, they're like, he's a fucking enigma, because he'll get up on stage and he'll do a joke, 3 shows in a row, and it'll murder. Like, he'll have it and it does good. He changes something and it murders. And then instead of sticking with that, he'll change it again just to see, and then it'll bomb. And then he'll just keep changing it. Like, he does stuff like that.
Dave Attell seems like one of those comedians that tries to shock you into laughing. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have any negative things to say about Dave Attell, except, like, I don't know that I would watch a full special.
I don't know that I have. I've only ever seen him as a guest on stuff, and then like on Bumping Mics, which is kind of joint with Jeff Ross. I've also never seen like Jeff Ross do 30 minutes or an hour. I've only ever seen him as the roast master.
Yeah,
or
I'd have to agree with you there.
As a guest on stuff, and I think he's super fucking funny, but I've never seen like his stand-up.
As a roast master, absolutely.
Oh, he's so good. So good.
He has that sense of humor that, like, your friends have when you're all together, and he like makes fun of everyone, but, like, he doesn't mean anything by it.
They're how, like, biting humor should be. Like, it's mean, but it's mean in a specific way that it's not, like, too personal. Like,
yeah, it's mean in a way that, like, he knows you, and, like,
right.
he knows kind of, I don't even know necessarily how to say
everyone's busting each other's balls.
Yeah.
And it's a good time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's some people
I
who
would
they take
love
jokes.
to hang out with Jeffrey Ross. I don't know that I would love
sure.
to hang out with, like,
Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to hang out with Anthony Jeselnik.
Although that is a character. His stage thing is a character.
Or who's the other one? Liza
Minnelli.
Liza Minnelli, is that it? I thought Liza Minnelli was who's the daughter
Schlesinger?
of oh fuck, what's her nuts from Wizard of Oz?
Judy Garland.
That's Liza.
I have no idea.
Oh my god, I can't think of her name. It's not. It's Liza something.
So the comedian, are you thinking Eliza Schlesinger? Her?
No, she seems cool.
Yeah.
I think it is Liza Minnelli, but that...
Or are you thinking the Queen of Mean?
The Queen of Mean? Yeah.
If you give me her first name, I don't think it's Liza.
Is it not?
Oh, fuck. They introduce her at each one.
Okay, Liza Minnelli is the daughter of Judy Garland.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Fuck, I gotta look it up.
Queen of Mean. Who is she? It's Lisa Lampanelli.
Lisa Lampanelli. I do not want to hang out with Lisa Lampanelli. But like Jeff
not.
Ross, like I would hang out with. Greg Giraldo cool. When he was still alive.
Apparently he was a lawyer. Seems to be a smart guy.
He was a lawyer, and then he decided this is not for me and became a comedian.
That's crazy.
That's so... Holy shit, can you imagine?
There's some people like that. Rogan had someone on, I forget his name, but he was telling his story, and his story was different because he goes, yeah, it's kind of weird because I actually graduated with a degree in like computer engineering, and I worked at this like software company, and I had ended up saving up like $500,000 before I started doing comedy.
Yeah.
So he's like, where most people are broke and like living out of their car, I was pretty comfortable.
That is a pretty good safety net.
Yeah. And so he was like, and I knew that I could always fall back on it. So I was able to go full hard into comedy because I knew that if it didn't work, I could get something else. And so I wasn't like worried about it. I forget his name, but yeah, he was pretty cool like that. And then apparently Whitney Cummings was like that too. She saved up a shitload of money, like, because she wrote a bunch of shows and like produced stuff, and she's a successful comedian. And so she had saved up a shitload of money, and now she's just like mega loaded.
Nice.
Bert Kreischer tells the story. He goes, I've been to her house twice, and I still haven't seen all of it. And yeah, and he goes, and I was talking to her, and she goes, yeah, I think I'm going to buy the property next door. Oh, why? I don't like having neighbors. Like that is a real rich person move.
You know, if you've got the money, I say go for it.
But the crazy thing is that's in LA, where a $3 million house is only like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And it's like, how's that $3 million?
Because you live in LA.
I live in a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, and this is a $200,000 house. That's like 230.
Yeah, I mean, and that is in Austin. So, but you kind of live on the side of Austin that used to be the shitty side.
Yeah,
that used to be like, ooh, I don't know if I want to go to South Austin.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
There is I saw something recently. Greg Abbott like released a statement. The NASDAQ is looking at moving to Texas.
What?
Yeah. So because Texas passed a law in their last, for anyone who's not from Texas, the way that Texas passes state laws is we have our own Congress. They only meet every other year. And they only meet for like 90 days. And if they don't get whatever they were going to get done, I'll see you in 2 fucking years. And it's like, that's how our Congress works. And the idea behind it, and it's a good idea, and it was supposed to be the idea behind the federal government too, but it they kept like extending sessions and recesses and vacations and all that stuff. The idea was that lawmakers were normal people making laws for normal things. And so they don't get paid these exorbitant salaries. They show up for 90 days. They get their stipend, for doing this extra work. And then they go back to work. And that's the idea behind it.
That was the original idea. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they go back to work. But so we kind of have that in Texas. And in the last session, they straight up made an income tax unconstitutional against the Texas Constitution. So we do not have an income tax, and we will never have one. The catch to that, a lot of people I don't think realize, is we actually have pretty high like sales and property taxes.
Sales tax is not like super high. It's like 0.825%.
Something like that. I was talking to and when Laura was here, like in Wisconsin, they had like a 0.6 something.
Yeah, so sales tax is like 0.825, and like in San Francisco, it's like 0.85. Like,
yeah,
it's comparative to a fairly well-populated California city.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, so we have decent property taxes. Like if you're a property owner in Texas, you pay some good taxes there. But yeah, we don't have an income tax. And so that was the point that's why a lot of companies are starting to move here. Like Apple's building a campus, Tesla's building a factory or their headquarters here.
The last I heard, Elon Musk said, "Oh, we're moving to Texas," but then they weren't sure if it was actually going to happen or not.
I might be wrong. I thought the last I heard they were actually doing it.
It's possible. Like I said, the last I heard it was maybe. It was up in the air.
Greg Abbott is talking to the NASDAQ of all fucking things moving here because New York City is just crazy. And there was a crazy article that came out about it. It said New York will never be the same, New York City, after the pandemic, because they realized that why the fuck are we populating these skyscrapers in the middle of prime real estate with people that could do their job from home? Why are we doing this? Like, why are we paying the bills to like have these office spaces in Manhattan? And so a lot of stuff has moved out of New York City. And the person who wrote this article is like, I have a hard time seeing it return to the way it was anytime soon. Like, it'll be a very gradual reintroduction of Ari Shaffir, comedian, has said it's going to be great because New York City is going to be dangerous again. And like the artist will move in and they'll start, kind of doing like reinventing a new wave of music and art and kind of another cultural hub. And that's what he thinks, but he's also addicted to every psychedelic. I know they're not habit forming per se, but he loves him some psychedelics.
Yeah, they're not like chemically speaking, they're not habit forming, but you can get addicted to anything.
Yeah, you can be a pretty big fan of them.
Yeah, I don't know. Like New York in the 70s was scary as fuck.
Woo. And obviously we weren't alive then.
No, but based on what I've heard, like Times Square, as we know it now, in the 70s was all like porno theaters and hookers and like
sketchy. It's where you went to get drugs. My dad was talking about it and he goes, no, Times Square was not like that when I was a kid.
No.
He's like, when I was a kid, like you didn't go to Times Square. Like you don't want to go there. And Tim Dillon was on Rogan's podcast
I
before
love
Alex
Tim
Jones.
Dillon.
He's so fucking funny. He was on Rogan's podcast and he was talking about how they were doing some sets up there, and the cab driver that he got or Uber or whatever, that was taking him to his hotel, dropped him off 2 blocks before the hotel for whatever reason. I don't know. And he goes, that 2-block walk to our hotel was the first time in New York City that I didn't feel safe, like walking. He's like, and this was an area of downtown where like, January 2020, there'd be people walking, they're bar hopping, everyone's chilling, there's music playing. And he's like, people were actually like sizing us up. Anyone sitting outside was people like you did not want to fuck with. You didn't want to look at them wrong. And if they walked up to you, you'd have to give them everything you had. Like it was the first time walking in New York that I didn't feel safe. And it was like 10 p.m. It wasn't even that late.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know anyone who lives there. The only person I know is Samantha, and I don't know if she still lives there. Like, we don't talk, so.
I haven't talked to Samantha since we graduated high school.
Yeah.
Probably before that.
Yeah. I
bet if you looked into it, the last time I talked to her was like January of 2014 or something.
She came to visit when we lived together, so I guess you had a passing high.
Did she? I don't remember that.
Yeah. She came to visit once or twice. But I mean, basically dropped in, said hi, we got lunch, and then left.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. So
she must have been in town like visiting family or something, and then
yeah, she just popped in for something. Because I don't remember.
I don't remember seeing her since high school.
Yeah. So that happened.
But also, I wasn't a very big fan of Samantha anyway.
Nah. But yeah, she's the only person I know that lives in New York City, and like I don't know if she still lives there or like what's going on.
I
I
think
don't know.
she does.
The only other person I know is actually my manager. Because we're all remote. Most of us are here in Austin, but we got one guy in Denver. There's like 2 girls in California, and some people in like Boston. But my manager, he lives in Brooklyn.
Hmm.
And I mean, I haven't asked him about it, but he seems fine.
If you had to live in another country,
Yeah.
what country do you think you would like to live in?
I want to live somewhere industrialized
Mm-hmm.
with relatively similar culture and ethics. And so
Okay. Yeah.
probably something like Australia. If I wanted to do that, if I wanted to go, like, I really want to visit first, but like in my head, I think I would like to live in Japan for a year.
But
But if I,
Japan would not want you.
no, they're not super big fans of foreigners.
They're
Buying land.
as far as I understand, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but in Japan, they don't mind tourists.
Mm-hmm.
If you're there for like the summer or whatever, they don't care. But they don't want you to live there if you're not Japanese.
It's mostly the older generation. And since Japan is an aging population, that's a lot of them. But it's similar to the people down here who are like, you speak English when you come to my country. In Japan, there is a lot of the older generation who is like, I liked it better when we were an island without, with only Japanese people. But there's a comedian. They were just talking about him on Your Mom's House. I forget who, but he apparently, so he is of Korean descent, but he was raised in Japan, and he might be half Japanese, but he might be all Korean. I don't know. But he was raised in Japan by Japanese people and didn't know he was Korean. And so he grew up hating Korean people. And then he found out he was Korean.
I was going to say, I don't think the Koreans and the Japanese like each other that much.
They're not big fans. Imperial Japan, which is a very different Japan than modern Japan. Imperial Japan was kind of an asshole.
Imperial Japan and like China don't get along. Korea don't get along.
Any Asian country does not, if Japan invaded them, they don't like Japan.
That's fair.
It's 100% fair.
I don't know.
I get it.
I don't know how countries like Indonesia or Southeast Asian countries feel about Japan, but I know Korea and China specifically do not like Japan.
It's like when you talk to Native Americans, like, how do you feel about the U.S. government? And they're like delegated to a section of Oklahoma. They're like,
clearly we don't love it.
Yeah. How do you think we feel, my guy?
A lot of native reservations are in like Arizona and like
Arizona and Oklahoma
and like the desert. And even though Oklahoma has this reputation as like, oh, that's Native America, quote unquote, is like there's very few reservations actually in Oklahoma.
I saw a map of it recently, and there's like 4 nations and they actually take up like half the state. They take up quite a bit of like their like land. But also the federal government has a history of just fucking ignoring tribal land. Although there is weird shit that has to do with it, like there's weird like tribal law stuff, and it gets real odd having a nation within a nation that we kind of recognize but don't really. It's real weird. Have you ever seen a map of the U.S. like by language spoken? You ever seen that? There's a really interesting one.
I remember looking at like the most common language besides English and Spanish.
Yeah.
In Texas is like Vietnamese.
Yeah, it's like Vietnamese, and there's like a bunch of native languages spoken and like kind of weird stuff you wouldn't expect. It's like, why the fuck is German spoken so much here?
So there was an author, I can't remember his name. I wish I could, but he basically broke down what would be like the 11 nations within the United States. And basically it's broken down by like what country settled that sort of area of the United States, and that sort of influences the culture and like
for sure
why they vote the way they do. And so like a lot of Appalachia was settled by like Scottish immigrants that were used to being screwed over by the English crown. And so they don't have a lot of trust in a sort of federal government.
Right.
And that's why a lot of Appalachian states vote Republican, because they want a smaller federal government.
Right.
And that's sort of part of the culture there, not necessarily that...
I've always seen like where people in other European countries, they shit on America and for like not doing things that other like industrial countries do. And it's like, I completely understand the criticism, but at the same time, we have 300 million people, 350 million people, whatever. And almost the American culture is like almost entirely defined on fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. It's
that is true.
Almost all like it. I didn't really know. I thought it actually had much more support than it did, but breaking off from Britain was already like a 50-50 decision. Like the country was split. Like, do we do it? Do we not? And they ended up doing it, and history unfolded. But it's in our goddamn DNA to say, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. And so when you try and say, like, whenever the federal government tries to impose something, you're always going to have like half the population go, bite me. Like, I'm not doing it. Fuck off. And then it's just like, it's difficult, but it's in our culture to be very independent. And that's why, like, we don't have very many multi-generational houses. And it's why we enforce like moving out when you're 18, even though at 18, you barely know what the fuck is going on.
I think that started in like the 50s. Like post-war, you could absolutely afford to move out when you were like 18 and like run your own household, and you were married by like 20 and whatever, you could afford to do that. And then that sort of became like normal. That was the nuclear family.
Right.
It was a husband and wife and 2 kids and all that.
Yeah.
And now if you ask me,
the problem is,
it ended in the 80s when Reagan became president, and then trickle-down economics became the norm, because on paper, trickle-down economics works, but in practice, the people that own the capital start to hoard that wealth and not give it to people below them, even though they could, and still have a bunch of money. Like Jeff Bezos, for example, he could give away half of his money and still have plenty of money to live on.
I think certainly like what you're saying is, correct. Like they will start to amass more, and that's why you see, executive bonuses go up. I think personally, a lot of the problems arise when we didn't raise the minimum wage with inflation.
Right. If the minimum wage raised with inflation, it would be at like almost $16 an hour.
Right.
Instead of $7.25.
I think it's an accumulation of things, and like we're seeing the like compounded effects a lot now. So it was not raising the minimum wage. It was focusing almost entirely on education, which isn't bad. And I mean like college specifically. Focusing in on college super hard, and then the price of education rising exponentially faster than the people could afford it.
Well, the problem is the price of education rose, but a lot of businesses expected you to have at least a bachelor's degree
Right.
But the price of getting a bachelor's degree did not decrease. So like when my dad was going to college in like the late 70s, you could have a part-time job and still pay for your college tuition. And you just cannot do that now.
No, you 100% can't do it. And the problem has been there, and then like where the demand is, because everything changes so fucking fast that if you get a computer science degree, what you learned your freshman year is no longer useful when you graduate. It's changed. It changes too fast. And so there are high-paying jobs out there for relatively little experience, but it's competitive. And you have to, I don't know, like, I don't really have much an answer for it. Like, I don't have an answer. I just think it's a lot of stuff together that we're feeling in 2020 that if we would have been doing stuff throughout the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, could have avoided a lot of it.
I just want to interrupt this conversation about politics to say that, like, while you were speaking, I farted.
Nice. Yeah, like, I saw your face. I saw it twinge.
It was nasty.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Ugh.
A lot of times you can fart and like it's not bad to you, but like everybody else in the room hates it.
Toxic.
Because everybody kind of likes their own brand. You know what I mean?
I love farting. I love farting in a car and going, oh, that would have been bad.
Because you can fart and go, oh, that's bad, but you kind of like it. At the end of the day, it was like, that is mine. That's my smell.
Yeah, I own it.
Yeah.
I'm going to jar it up and sell it.
And then you lock the windows of your car and force everybody else to just suffer.
Do you think it'd be possible to like fart in a jar and seal up the smell and make a candle out of it?
I'm going to say
you can make
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to see if I can make a candle called Buffalo Wing Shart. Buffalo Shart. Ooh.
Oh my God, I love it.
I wonder if it's possible. There you go, Yankee Candle. There's a new flavor for you.
Oh, Bed Bath & Beyond.
Can't wait for that sponsorship money.
Bed Bath & Beyond's new Buffalo Shart candle.
This episode is brought to you by Bed Bath & Beyond's candle section. Oh, fuck.
Oh, my God. Oh, man. Shower farts are always the worst.
I love them because they're wet and they bubble. Like when the water runs down your back, they bubble.
They bubble, and then you go, oh, God. Oh, no.
You know what's a phrase I never heard until one of Maddie's little brother's friends came over? We were talking about how, God, what we say is like, because we had just moved in. They helped us move in. It's like, yeah, you can use the shower. And one of them's like, I got to shit. And then the other one's like, but I got to shower. And I was trying to interject and be like, we have 3 bathrooms. And he goes, fuck it. I'll just shit in the shower and waffle stomp it down.
Oh,
I went,
no.
Oh, waffle stomp?
Waffle stomp?
And I thought about it, and I'm like, I don't need to ask what it is. Fucking waffle stomp.
That is pretty descriptive.
It's too descriptive.
That doesn't make it good. It just means you know what they're talking about.
Oh, dude, it's the first time I heard that.
Oh,
like,
God.
That's fucking disgusting.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You know, I got a Facebook memory like a couple days ago. Oh, it's for my birthday. And it was 9 years ago. No, it was 10 years ago. And it was from our freshman year in high school. It was me.
I hate it already.
It was me at the zoo for our birthday, or for my birthday. So that means like 10 years ago, we started high school. which means we're getting close to that 10-year reunion. It's right there.
Yeah, we graduated 2014, so
And we're going into 2021.
yeah. I'm kind of, when we graduated high school, I was like, there's no fucking way you're gonna make me go to the reunion.
Yeah.
But as time goes on, I'm kind of looking forward to going to our 10-year reunion.
Yeah, there's a couple people I'd like to see.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh shit, like I remember you. Be like, what's up? Like just talk.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah. But yeah, 10 years ago we started high school. Actually, 10 years ago would have been we'd be going into our our second semester.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Fuck. Anyway,
Getting
go on.
old.
Go on about your story. You were going to the zoo.
Yeah. Yes. The girl I was dating at the time, Ariel, she took me to the zoo and then dumped me on my birthday.
On your birthday.
On my birthday.
That's
for the first time.
incredible.
She dumped me on my birthday.
And then you got
too.
back together with her.
Like 3 times.
Hell yeah. Ariel's a bitch.
Not friendly.
She was always nice to me, though.
Yeah.
But I think that's because she may have thought I was, like, on the spectrum.
Poor special needs boy.
She's like, well, obviously I can't be mean to him. He's clearly retarded.
She treated me like I was on the spectrum.
She treated you like the mom of a child that was on the spectrum.
Yeah. Like who didn't know how to deal with a special needs kid.
And so she just
fucking
hit
smacking
you every
me.
once in a while. Yeah.
Fucking smacking me. It's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than like when a girl who weighs like 100 pounds less than you is just smacking you around. It's like, God damn it.
And we all knew she was not good for you.
Everyone
But you
knew.
were like, but I like her.
I like her.
I like her.
She touches my dingle.
She touched my ding dong.
Yeah.
I can already tell this is gonna be like one of my least favorite episodes of the podcast.
Why? The first half was great.
I don't know. There's just something about it I don't like.
Yeah. You want to wrap it up there then? You want to wrap it up while you hate it?
Have we talked long enough?
Hour
When
13.
did we start? Because I feel like we talked on Skype a while.
Oh shit, you're right. We're at 57.
Okay, hold on.
Don't do it. Don't fart.
It's
you
not
didn't
ready.
get
It's
anything.
still brewing. Hold on.
Oh
Hold
no.
on. Give it a second.
Is it an IPA?
No. This is all like White Russian farts.
You've been drinking White Russians before noon?
Yeah.
I guess it's a coffee liqueur. Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, Kahlua, vodka, and heavy cream. That's all it takes. White Russians are fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's why we got them at the wedding.
They taste like alcoholic chocolate milk.
They're not bad. They're pretty good.
Yeah. And then I also like to buy like sparkling waters, like flavored sparkling waters.
Yeah.
Drink a little bit of them and then pour gin in.
Oh.
And that's a good mix.
That's interesting. I've recently came up on a dark and stormy, which I like, which is just
rum, ginger beer.
that's it. Optional lime juice.
Is that it? Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you want lime juice, you could throw it in there. It's a mojito with no mint and dark rum.
I do like a mojito is like a really nice, refreshing summer drink.
Love it. Tastes good.
Yeah. I do like a nice mojito or like a strawberry mojito.
I didn't realize a mojito is just a daiquiri with mint.
There's
There's a lot about like cocktail stuff that's like real interesting. And it's like, yeah, this is just this with this drink or swap this out. And it's like, it's a lot of kind of plug and play.
There's, for cocktails, generally, there's like 3 components.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it is, but it's like a bitter, an alcohol, and like something else. And I can't remember what it is exactly. But Alton Brown when he goes on his like tours.
Yeah.
He'll do a big thing where it's like you spin one wheel and that's the alcohol, and you spin another wheel and that's the bitter, and you spin another wheel and that's the third component of whatever it is. And it doesn't really necessarily matter what it lands on, because it's gonna be good because you've got one of each of these components.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I wish I remembered a little better what it was. But
yeah, for the wedding, what do you want to do for your birthday? Your birthday is not long after the wedding. What do you want to do?
I want to have a nice steak dinner.
A steak dinner?
That's usually what I do for my birthday. I usually go to like a nice.
I'm not buying you steak.
You don't have to.
What if I hit a deer and drop it off at your house?
If
you know how to butcher a deer?
No, fuck no. If you hit a deer and then took it to some place to have it like whatever
properly butchered,
processed, yeah. If you hit a deer and then took it someplace to have it processed and then set it on my doorstep, I would probably accept that. Because like deer jerky is not bad.
No, I like it. I like venison.
I've never had like a venison like steak or whatever. You know, I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, steak.
But like besides like deer jerky, I've never had anything but that, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, I like venison. Some people don't, but I mean I was into it.
It's a little gamey, so like if you're not used to that, I understand.
Speaking of gaming, that's one of my favorite descriptors for farts. Calling them gamey. Yankee Candle, there's your new flavor, gamey shard.
Gamey farts.
Gamey buffalo.
And it's just really sulfuric. And you go, oh, it's like rotten eggs.
I think you take like their normal naming convention, like Mountain Breeze, and you call it Mountain Game. Like it's not too clear what they are. Shart Ridge.
Oh, that's incredible.
I love it. I'm going to figure out a way to candle my fart.
Yeah. We're going to start doing that. Let's start branding it with the flirting with failure brand.
I might just have to shit in a jar and ferment it. Because I don't know how I could get like multiple farts of the same smell together.
You could
It'd just be a cocktail of ass.
You could talk to some like flavor expert. I don't know. Let's talk to Ben and Jerry's.
Oh,
Ben and
no, we're in Texas. Let's get Bluebell.
Oh yeah, Bluebell. Oh man, I love Bluebell.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Oh,
you know what? You know what ice cream gets slept on that I really like is coffee ice cream.
No,
I love coffee ice cream.
No, if it's not hot, I don't fuck with coffee. Like I don't do hot coffee. I don't do.
But you like
it
coffee. black. You don't like sweet coffee.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, you like it black.
Well, because
like your men.
Coffee. Yeah. You're gonna tell me black men aren't incredible?
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Obama's pretty cool.
Obama's awesome. Well, except for like his drone strikes.
The drones, fuck him.
He promised to bring us out of the Iraq war, and then he didn't. And...
Yeah, he brought it from like a shitload of troops to a lot.
Oh man, should we talk about the election? Because our last episode was pre-election. You were right.
Yeah, I was right. I called the underdog. Although, to be fair, if you take, is it Mike Pompeo? Is that the Secretary of State?
He is certainly something.
He had a press conference, and someone goes, so like, what's the plan to work with Joe Biden's team and like for a peaceful transition or a smooth transition?
There's not gonna be. It's gonna be a second Trump term. LOL.
He goes, there will be a smooth transition into a second Trump administration. It's like, oh Jesus, here we fucking go.
Even though Trump lost the popular vote by quite a bit, And
like
the
5 million.
electoral vote by quite a bit.
He lost the electoral and the popular by like 5 million.
Yeah.
And I will say it's very refreshing to see Joe Biden talk. And like, it's not these big exaggerated things and blatant fucking lies. It's like, I will take political lies over like this reality star lie. I can't do it anymore, man.
I will say Joe Biden is not my preferred candidate.
No.
I would much rather Bernie Sanders be in the White House. But because it came down to Joe Biden versus Trump, I would much rather have Biden in. I would much rather have a middle-of-the-road Democrat than a far-right Republican in
It's
the White
honestly
House.
just a breath of fresh air. It's nice to take the foot off the gas.
Oh, my God,
And
yeah.
so he said something like interesting, and he goes, I think what a lot of people don't understand is like, yes, I did win. 70 million Americans still voted for Trump, which is a lot. And he's like, I don't want to alienate them. I want to bring them in. And it's like, I just need a way for all of us to see some kind of common ground. He's like, alienating them is exactly what created Trump in the first place. It's like, that's not what I want.
I think there's a good percentage of Trump voters that only voted for him because they generally vote Republican.
Yeah.
Like my parents, for instance.
Yeah.
They watch Fox News. They don't want a Democrat to be in office just on principle.
It's very
interesting. I don't think they necessarily agree with Trump or anything he has to say, but because they voted Republican for so long, they're not going to vote Democrat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's so many people that are like that.
I think there is something to say for like, hey, research your candidates, because Joe Biden is very middle of the road. He's not Medicare for all. He is not pro Green New Deal.
Right.
He's very
Although I
middle of the road.
think according to his website, he's changed it for the Medicare. He wants to fix that. He wants to add that.
Well, so the last thing I heard is that he thinks affordable health care is a right.
Oh, okay.
And
Maybe
not
he did say that,
not necessarily that health care is a right. Even though it should be. But the last thing I remember hearing is he's pro amending healthcare to make it more affordable, but not necessarily Medicare for all, which would really be more beneficial.
Right. And depending on which country you talk to, some places have free, like coming to the doctor, it's paid for by the government. And then some places like Japan, where it's like 70% paid for by the government, 30% to the user. But also because they have that, the prices aren't so inflated. So you aren't paying $30 for an IV bag. It's $3 and you're paying 30% of that.
So
keep hitting my teeth. Fucking hurts.
Most industrialized nation has some form of socialized healthcare.
Yeah.
And so for politicians to say that that's completely unreasonable and we can't afford that is completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If I had to live in another country, like I've been looking into what it would take to like immigrate to Ireland or something.
Interesting choice. Thought you were going to say Canada.
No, Canada has a lot of like anti-native and like anti-immigrant
they're not big fans
sentiment. That if it weren't for America, Canada would be like really negatively viewed.
And a lot of that land is fucking useless.
Yeah, there's a big part of it that's in the Arctic Circle that you can't do fucking anything with.
Useless.
And a lot of Canada's like national identity is like, hey, we're not America.
Yeah, we're America light.
We're Diet America.
America Zero. just keeps getting rebranded.
And so, like, if you were to take away America, you go, oh, Canada's not a great country. But compared to us, they're a lot better.
Ireland, very interesting. Are you going to stick with the one that's in the UK, like North Ireland, or Ireland proper?
I don't know. I hadn't really looked into it all that much.
Because they're different, and they do not like each other.
I just know
fucking
that,
hate each other.
Ireland has universal health care, and they're like pro-gay marriage and stuff like that. And so,
can't believe that's even still a debate.
I also can't. It's fucking crazy, right?
I was telling Maddie about how you told me once that you had an argument with a family member, and the family member was like, "But where does it stop?" And you were like, "2 consenting adults."
It was my stepmom. Like, my dad and my stepmom were both like, okay, yeah, like, gay rights, whatever, but, like, where does it stop? Because, like, pedophiles don't choose to be pedophiles and stuff like that. I was like, well, that's not the same thing. No. You can draw the line at 2 consenting adults.
It's that easy. It's literally that easy.
And even then, you could say polygamy is fine, because I don't give a shit.
Who cares?
If like 3, 4, 5 people all want to get married together, who cares as long as they're all aware of it and they're all okay with it? Who cares?
Yeah, it's so weird that some things are even still a debate. I guess I get if you want to have the debate with abortion. I don't get the only point I get is like the late term, but even then nobody wants to do that.
Anybody who is getting a late term abortion is not doing it because they like don't want kids.
No,
pretty much all the late term abortions are happening because like this could kill me if I have this child.
That's it. So it's like, I guess if you want to say nothing past a certain week, but like I can't believe that some of the debate is that like not even birth control is okay. It's like, what?
And like,
what the fuck are we doing here?
If you're Catholic, I kind of get it.
Keep it in your own goddamn sect.
But exactly.
Stop making it the government.
Exactly. It's one thing to be like, I don't agree with this because of my religion. It's another thing entirely to say like, you can't do this because of my religion. That doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
It's insane. And that goes again back to like our fucking founding is Puritans and Pilgrims and like being bound by this tight religious morality.
And even during like the Prohibition, like back in the 20s, where it's like, if you drink alcohol, you deserve to die because we've decided it's illegal. And it's like, what the fuck? What kind of shit is this?
Actual goddamn insanity. I can't wait for everyone born before 1980 to die.
I don't think that's going to fix anything. I think a large part of it is like an older generation, but also they raised us and they gave us the so
it is proven that as time goes on, a population becomes more liberal or more progressive, rather, I should say. However, you're right. Yeah, those deep-seated races raise other deep-seated racists. And the internet was, I agree with Joe Rogan here, is like the internet was supposed to be access to all information and the good information rises to the top. But unfortunately, that's not
really the case.
That's not what happened.
Yeah.
It can be if you use it properly and you research, but it's not how it worked out.
Did you see? I only saw a clip of it. I didn't see the whole episode, but like Joe Rogan had Kanye West on his podcast.
I only watched like 20 minutes of
I saw a clip where he was like, okay, so let's say like Yemen launches missiles against like this country. Are you prepared to deal with that? Or like this and that? And Kanye was like,
I can't believe anyone took his presidency serious.
Dude, he got like 10,000 votes in like Kentucky or some shit.
A lot more than I thought.
He got a lot more than he deserved.
And Joe Jorgensen ended up getting like almost 2 million or something. And it's like, it's nice to see the third parties getting some love, but for now, we still live in a two-party state.
I think in 2024, as long as like there's not a clearly fascist candidate, I would be willing to vote third party.
Yeah.
Even if it means throwing my vote away, because I think once you get enough people voting, like not for the two-party system, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
If I had a magic wand would be in the office. You can't make people do anything. I've come to terms with, in America, you can't make people do anything.
Oh, fuck no.
And so, but it has to be so easy that it's not an inconvenience anymore. Because for a long time, I didn't register because I couldn't be bothered to. It's like, it doesn't affect me really. And that's like fucking effort. Like, I didn't do it when I got my license.
Dude.
And so now it's like a process.
Even during the COVID shit, like getting people to wear a mask, you can't get some people to do it because it's a minor inconvenience.
And so, like, if I had a magic wand, if I got into office, it would be, I'm calling in Microsoft, Google, Apple, Amazon, be like, you guys are you run the smartest engineers in the world. You build me a goddamn voting app that everyone in America can use and is not susceptible to like outside interference. I know you can fucking do it. Like, build me one. You have 4 years to do it. Build it. And so that way it's so easy. You download an app and every American is able to vote. Doesn't mean they have to, because again, I don't think you can make anyone do anything.
I think making it a national holiday would help.
I think that would help.
Everybody has the day off. Here's when we vote. Go vote. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
It's fine.
But if you want to, you have the day off, so you don't have to worry about like, oh, I'm not going to get paid or, you know, whatever.
The next part of the magic wand is to fire every single member of Congress. And it's like, everyone rerun. Every goddamn one of you is like, no corporate influence. Like, there's no corporate backing. Like, again, this is magic wand.
Yeah.
And it's that. And then it's, when it comes to presidential debates, the top 4 parties get a speaking spot.
So, like, the Green Party and the Libertarian Party get a fair amount of votes.
They get a spot. They get a chance to be heard.
Sure, yeah.
On a national stage.
And I think there are certain things about the Libertarian Party that I kind of agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Where at a certain point, it's kind of like, just leave me alone, let me do my thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, sure, whatever. But there's a clip from, I want to say it's like the 2012 presidential debate, where it's like libertarians, and one guy goes like, yeah, I think it makes sense for us to have like driver's licenses.
Yeah.
And the crowd boos him. Where it's like, I don't know about that.
Some of the hardcore ones, they take it, like, I don't get, like, how people can be so up their own ass with stuff. It's like, how do you not, like, think about the practicality of something? How is anything that's rational?
The example that I used to use, and it doesn't really apply anymore because you and I don't live together. Yeah. But it's like, the example that I used to use is that, like, I would love to walk around my house absolutely naked.
Yeah.
But because I have a roommate, it makes sense for me to, like, cover up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense for me to restrict some of my liberties for the betterment of the entire house.
Right.
And libertarians don't seem to understand that.
Yeah, it's very much, let me do this is what I want to do. It's like, well, what about other people? Like, fuck them, they're not me.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and
it's like, on one hand, I kind of respect that.
There's a certain
and on the
point,
other, it's like,
yeah,
you can't quite, come on, man, you gotta bend.
There's a certain point where it's like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but on the other hand, like, if you want to use COVID as an example, where it's like, the masks, if you don't have COVID, the masks really don't help.
No, because they don't keep you from getting
They
it.
don't
They keep you from spreading it.
Exactly. But it's like, I'm going to wear the mask when I go out in public anyway, just in case.
Because most cases are asymptomatic or so mild that if you didn't get tested regularly, you might not know you ever had it.
Exactly. So it's better. It's a minor inconvenience for me to wear it, but it's better overall.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem wearing the mask.
It was when it was a suggestion, I was like, fuck you. I don't wanna.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when it was a suggestion, it's like, we suggest doing it, it's better for everyone. I'm like, suck my dick. But when they said, they're like, all right, now you gotta, I'll be like, all right, let's just go as little fight as possible. Let's just do this. And then you kind of get over it. And it's like, as soon as they lift that ban, you goddamn right, I'm taking it off.
Yeah.
But like, as long as it is a law that isn't really harmful, it's not like the law is every day for 2 hours you sit in a pen. And it's like that I would have a serious problem with. I don't know. I just had to think of something that could be an inconvenience to some people. Like, it's just 2 hours. Take a nap. And be like, fuck you. But if it's like literally just throw the mask on your face and everything else is cool. And even then, you only got to wear it when you're like in a store.
Yeah.
As soon as you go outside, especially here in Texas, there isn't like mask shaming that a thing. Like, I get in LA, some people see you across the street and they're like, wear your fucking mask. But like here in Texas, everyone does it. As soon as they leave the store, bloop, they take it off.
Yeah. And I'm with you. Until it was like a mandate, I really did not wear it into the grocery store.
I didn't, because I didn't have to.
But I also didn't go anywhere but the grocery store.
I didn't go out of my way to make people uncomfortable because I was conscious of it. Like, my choice is I don't wanna, I'm not worried about it. But if you are scared of it, I'm not gonna stand up in your face. I'm not gonna make a scene. Like, I'm gonna keep everything in my bubble. And like, I would respect people's space and like if they want to and all that stuff. And then once it became a mandate, it's like, well, now we're all doing this.
Well, at the end of the day, it's like if you believe the virus is fake, right? We're going to say, for the sake of argument, you believe the virus is fake.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to wear a thing in front of your face for like 8 months anytime you go out, it's a minor inconvenience. If you're wrong, it's just a minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
If I believe the virus is real and I wear the mask for like 8 months, and you are correct, the person who believes that it's not real,
right,
then it's a minor inconvenience. But if I'm right and you have not been wearing the mask, then you've been spreading it for months, or you've gotten it, or whatever.
Right.
At the end of the day, just wearing the mask makes more sense than not wearing it.
Yeah. And where people are like this, this is a slippery slope. First it's a mask, then it's get the chip, then it's get this. It's like, what are you talking about?
I love that. What the fuck chip are you talking about? The mark of the devil.
They're talking about the Bill Gates fucking chip.
That's why.
Insane.
Have you ever noticed if you go into Hobby Lobby, there's no barcodes on anything?
I just noticed that the other day. We were in Hobby Lobby and they were manually entering everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why the fuck are we in the 1600s? What is this?
There's no barcodes at anything in Hobby Lobby. And according to Hobby Lobby, it's because, we want our employees to know like how much things cost and whatever.
But what's the conspiracy?
Like, fine. The conspiracy is that they believe that barcodes are the mark of the devil. And that's why nothing has a barcode on it.
Oh my God, there's barcodes because the lasers read the spaces between the lines. Oh God.
And we've had barcodes since what, like the 60s, the 70s?
Since we invented lasers that can read spaces. Oh my fucking Christ. I did not know that. But I noticed it the other day. We were in Hobby Lobby picking up some like Christmas stuff. And because after the wedding, we're going to Louisiana for a week. And when we get back, it'll be after Thanksgiving. So we want to like have our stuff so we can start putting it up. And I say that just because we were doing this on like November 5th. So I don't want people to think I'm putting up Christmas lights at the beginning of November. But anyway, we're in Hobby Lobby and we were in line for like 20 minutes. Like, what the fuck is taking so long? And when we got to the front, they were entering everything manually. And it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. There's no barcodes because that's the symbol of the beast, the mark of the beast.
Get the fuck out.
All right. Where should people look for you if they want to follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Michael Van Ant. I post jokes occasionally, as well as some pictures of my animals. You can get the podcast anywhere you get any podcast. Libsyn, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, all that good stuff. You can find us on YouTube, Flirting with Failure. You can also email us at flirtingfailure@gmail.com.
You can follow me on Twitter and on Twitch at copper_falcon. Do you ever listen to these episodes?
Yeah, I have to when I edit them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, once they're posted, do you ever listen to them?
Occasionally.
I listen to them before I take a nap.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll start the episode and then I'll take a nap. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is, but it's kind of nice to just, like, hear our voices and be like, oh.
You know where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good little place to take a nap.
Yeah.
Email us. You already dropped the email, right?
I did.
Yeah. Email us and tell us who you... No. I was going to say who
what
you
candle
voted for.
fart would you make? What Yankee candle fart do you want?
Oh, yeah. Tell us your favorite Yankee candle flavor.
Yeah.
And if you could invent a flavor, what would it be?
That's a good one.
Yeah. All right,
buddy.
I think that's a sode.